Hey, thanks for coming by Tori Magoo 44. It is the day before Easter, 2009. And I just thought I'd go over a few things with you guys. A lot of people have asked me if Scientologists celebrate Easter. And I wanted to tell you just a little bit about that. First of all, Easter for me, when I was a little kid, was fantastic. My mom used to always decorate the house really cool, and we'd have Easter egg hunts, and we all had little outfits that we got the day before Easter, and we were Catholic, so we went to church. That was always kind of cool, because they had great singing and everything. And then we had a great Easter dinner. It was just a very wonderful time, right? So now I get into the cult years later, and of course Hubbard was against Christ and church and angels and stuff like that. You don't really know that when you get in, but that's the truth. He is, and you find that out on the upper levels, right? But at the meantime, we did, we basically had Easter egg hunts, and we celebrated it. It's kind of weird because you're not really celebrating Easter for any kind of religious reason, but just the fun of it, having Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. But one of my friends, a dear friend of mine, who is now passed away, she passed away on OT7, another one of my friends, and a very wonderful person. She actually really helped me before I even met her. She wrote a book. This is her book. For anybody who knew her, Cam Solari, and it's called Notes from the Mountain. Let me see if I can get it. Notes from the Mountain. Anyway, she grew up in the mountains. See, there you go. She's got her little mountains in her picture. She was a great person. But she grew up in the mountains, and she writes this story. For Tori, my true friend, love Cam. So I could cry again. It's so... I won't, but I'm sorry I cried in that last one, but not really. I'm not sorry. I take it back. But anyway, when I was having the seizures in the 70s and really having a hard time, I bought her book. I'd never met her. I bought her book, and it helped me so much. It talked about mountain people and, city people, and the difference between mountain people's mentalities. Mountain people on the surface have simpler mentalities, touching trees and rocks, but they are the ones who have never quite lost all knowledge of the gentle first people and vaguely know and are often hunted by the bigger system of pure land, pure being, and closeness of the cosmos. And it just, I can't explain it. You have to read the whole thing, but it's incredible. And this is a picture of her mom. And believe it or not, I never met her, but her mom, when I was going through all this really hard time having the seizures, that woman really helped me a whole bunch. Okay, so now roll forward. I meet Cam. We become really good friends. And it's Easter, and she, because she grew up in the mountains, she said, let's have a pilgrimage, right? And so we started out, it was just a few families. It was so cool. We have Griffith Park in the middle of the city here in Los Angeles. So basically, the dads would all go up ahead of time and hide the eggs, and then we'd all come up with our baskets and our food and stuff like that. We'd always go early in the morning, and we'd, hike. It's a long hike up to Dante's View. And we'd get up to Dante's View, the kids would all race around, find eggs, and then we had bread that we'd bring and snacks and stuff. We'd all have just like a little kind of morning brunch. And it was usually 8 or 9 in the morning. One of the women there was just a wonderful singer, and so she would start singing, and that became a tradition every year where we'd all sing. It was an incredible time as far as just joy and goodness, even though it didn't really have any religious background at all, and Scientology doesn't. They don't have any religion as religious people think of, where you think of Christ and Jesus and all that stuff. They don't believe in any of that. And that was one of the attractions, frankly, at that time, earlier, because many of us had gotten tired of religion, and we were like, oh, it's the science of the mind and stuff like that. So that was one of the beginning things. But to this day, I still think, I still love Easter because I have wonderful memories from when I was a kid. And I miss Cam. I wish she was still here. She was one of the many that passed away due to cancer. Dr. Denk had told me when I asked him, why are all these people dying? He said, Tori, every person who's come through our clinic who's tried to handle cancer naturally is dead. Some of them who did it with medicine and natural, some are alive, some passed away. And including he is now dead. So it's kind of a sad thing to know that this many people that I know personally have passed away, who were in Scientology. One of my friends who's a critic wears a t-shirt all the time, Scientology kills. And I know Scientologists, come on. But you know what? When you look at how many people die in Scientology compared to out of Scientology, like I told you all, my brother said, Tori, we're less than a year apart. I know one person who's dead. You know a cast of thousands. And this was like 20 years ago. There's many more who've died since. So there you go. That's my Easter story and my little kind of homage to my friend, Cam, and Notes to the Mountain and the Mountain People. And I want to thank everybody who has helped me and helped everyone else. You have no idea how much you have helped us. And it's wonderful. And I want to thank everybody. While I was in Scientology, there were some people who deeply, deeply helped me. And my parents were wonderful to me. While all the time I was there, my brother was wonderful to me. And there were some very wonderful people who constantly helped me and were kind to me and fun. And those people, a lot of them are still stuck in there. And I hope and pray someday you wake up and you take back your life. Because you don't need to live in the shadows of the Scientology Truman Show. And that's it. I hope you all have a very happy Passover, happy Easter. I love you all. As my grandfather used to say, hearts of oak, meaning strong hearts and peace. All right? I'm over and out. Have a wonderful day. Bye.